It's me again, Miss Fireball. And today I'm back talking about a topic that I know a whole lot of right now: unemployment insurance. This episode is talking about the ins and outs of dealing with your local Department of Labor, the State Department of Labor and Insurance, anything unemployment. Let me tell you what happened with my story of unemployment insurance. So it's day one. I'm officially unemployed. So after I pick myself up off the floor, I decide to file for unemployment, which is my right to do as an employee who just got laid off, right? These benefits are here for us to help us through the hard times right now between now when we find our next employment. So I have not been on unemployment insurance since 2011. That is the last time that I filed for unemployment. Now, I've had jobs between then and now that I've either quit, got another job, was terminated or laid off. And for various reasons, I didn't bother to apply for unemployment insurance. Either I lived off my savings or I lived off my last few checks that were coming in from the employer, or in some cases, I found the job right away. So since some things have changed from the last time I collected unemployment to now. So I do my claim on the computer, and at some point at the end of the claim, you have to speak to a live person, right? To validate your information, to validate your identity, to hear the little script they give you, and all that. Well, here comes the fun part. Finish your claim, you call up your 800 number to speak to a live person, and you can't get a live person. You're calling all day. Sometimes you call and the message says that our agents are overwhelmed with phone calls and they're not taking any calls. They're not putting people on a hold. They're just like, click, call back again. So you literally speed dial about 10 times a day trying to get a live person. I did that for about probably a week. And then I said, this is ridiculous. Not only was I not able to speak to a live person, I was not able to finish my claim via the computer because I needed some information from my employer that I did not have, which was their employer ID number. Now, I didn't have that information because I never received a W-2 because I was there for exactly 11 months. So at the end of the year, I didn't get a W-2. I had no prior information of what their employee ID number was. So I emailed my HR department. Like 3 days passed, nothing. I reach out to my supervisor and I say, hey, I need the EIN number so that I can finish processing my claim for unemployment. Finally, she gets me the number from the HR department. Again, I attempt to call. I can't get through. This is going on for days and days. Finally, I just went online to see if there's any unemployment offices that I can visit in person. I called a local office. They said, yes, you can come in person between this time to that time to finish your claim in the office. I did that one day. I go in, and they don't finish the claim for you, the customer service rep. No. What they do is they supposedly have this secret quick shortcut to be able to get a customer service rep quicker and sooner because they have the in-house information how to cut through all the red tape. Like you have the consumer line, but they have the special number. Okay, they dial the special number, transfer the call to me, and I proceeded to sit there in the waiting area of the unemployment office for 90 minutes on my personal cell phone, waiting for someone to pick up. Okay, they pick up, finally able to speak to someone, and they said, okay, it'll take about 3 weeks before you get your first payment. And you're like, okay, 3 weeks is a long time. You're unemployed and the bills don't stop coming, right? All right. So by this time, I'm temping. I did temp work at a job. I lasted 1 week, guys. That's a totally different story from the one that started this whole podcast. the one that I was at for 7 weeks. I was at a temp job for a week. That's another story for another podcast. Anyway, so I'm at this job and I get a text message that says, your unemployment claim has been approved. Mind you, it didn't take 3 weeks. It took 4 weeks. So I'm at this temp job and I get the text message from the Department of Labor that says my claim has been approved. I should start receiving payments next week, whatever. And at the same day that I get this text message that says your unemployment insurance claim has been approved, a little after that, I got a phone call from a recruiter from the particular agency that I was working with that said, yeah, today's your last day. Okay, again, that's a story for another podcast, guys. Okay, so I can't do this job anymore. I can't come back. So I'm collecting unemployment. So I hope. So I think, and I hope. I make my weekly phone calls. When I set up my unemployment claim, I keyed in my bank account information, my routing number, all of that, right? And I'm calling each week, and it's about 2 weeks now. I don't have any money in my bank account. Where's my payment? Of course, you call, you can't get a live person. So I had to physically go into the office again, ask about my payment. The customer service rep, they make the special phone call they make. They put you on hold, you sit in there in your waiting area on your personal cell, and then someone picks up. Customer service rep says, oh, yeah, we see that we sent you a payment, your first payment, but it went to someone else's bank account, to the wrong bank. What? When can I get reimbursed? When can this money be sent to me? Where's my money? Well, I'm sorry, Miss Fireball, but you have to wait at least 21 days for that payment to be rerouted and returned back to us before we can put it into your account. What? Okay. Whose screw up was that? Because it wasn't mine. I know my bank account information. I know my routing number. I know my name. I double checked it, triple checked it before I pressed submit to the Department of Labor. Okay, so they were like, would you like to set up another payment method instead? I said, yes. Okay, I'll do the state debit card. Okay, Miss Fireball. From now on, starting next week, your weekly unemployment payments will be sent to this debit card. Bet. Cool. Have a nice day. I leave. I'm calling every week. And mind you, the debit card is supposed to come in the mail within 7 to 10 days. Long story short, my debit card did not arrive until a month later after another visit to the Department of Labor, after another debit card had to be sent to me in the mail. By the time I got my debit card a month later, and mind you, I'm calling every week on Sundays to certify for my claim. By the time the debit card came to me in the mail, I had $3,000 on it. Like, what are they doing? This is all the income I have. This is all I have coming in. This is supposed to be a little cushion, right? And I couldn't get my cushion. My cushion is just out here floating around. I'm calling every week. I'm desperate. I'm trying to keep the lights on. I'm trying to put food in my stomach. I'm trying to make some type of rent payment all the while trying to find employment. I have never been so frustrated. Well, I've been frustrated with a lot of things, but the whole dealing with the Department of Labor has been some of the most frustrating times of my recent existence. There's the constant, you have to go in for appointments, meetings, you have to keep a weekly report, you have to send it in. And God forbid, in my case, you miss an appointment because you never received a notice in the mail for it. You miss the appointment. And what happens? They stop your unemployment check. So then I protested and said, hey, I never got a notice in the mail about an appointment. You know what they did after a 2-week review process? They denied my appeal for my forfeited payment, they said, because I should have known to check the app and for all the various tabs and menus to see that there was an appointment sitting there, notice waiting for me. How would I know that? I've not been on unemployment since 2011. And when I was on 2011, there wasn't an app, there wasn't a portal, there wasn't any of these things. When I was on unemployment in 2011, I remember it like it was yesterday because I counted. I had to physically go inside to my local Department of Labor office for 11 visits. And the last time I was on unemployment, it was not for the traditional, in my state, 6 months. It was during a really bad economic crisis in the United States. So the federal government kept extending the unemployment insurance payments after your state exhaust your payments in your state exhausted. So I was on unemployment for 18 months. And so these apps, these portals, uploading, downloading, all these things, the debit card, none of that existed in 2011. You got to check in with a career coach. You have to give them a copy of your resume for them to critique it and tell you to change this and do this and move around all of this. How is that going to get me a job right now for somebody who doesn't know the first thing about my career, the work I do, telling me to rearrange my resume? Me having a resume that did not meet the Department of Labor's critique is not the reason why I lost my job. My resume is fine. Thank you. Why does the Department of Labor or the Unemployment Insurance Benefit Office or the Workforce Office in your state or region or whatever name they go under, why do they make it so difficult for people? It's like you're under investigation, you're under surveillance all the time. You got these constant check-ins, like you're a criminal meeting with your probation officer. You got to send them you have to upload your work search history. And mind you, in my state, I was told, keep your records. And I don't know if it's like this in other states, but keep your unemployment search report records for a year, because at any time within that year period, they may audit you and make you prove that you actually looked for work, that you actually submitted your resume here, you went for an interview there, this, that, and the other. Like the whole process is infuriating. Your employer lays you off, fires you, however you leave. Then you're at their mercy, right? Because now you have to wait for the Department of Labor to contact them to see if they want, number one, gonna approve your claim. I said, yes, we did lay Miss Fireball off. Fine. There's no issue. She's allowed to collect. Or you have the bozos, well, if you're the bozo who got yourself fired with cause, then what are you gonna do? What happens? Your employer has every right to protest your claim and deny it, and you cannot collect a dime in unemployment. So you guys, you better be making sure that you're not violating any of those clauses in your employee handbook, like that list of like 20 things: no lying, no stealing, no gambling, no fighting, no coming to work late, no insubordination, all of that. Because if you are fired from your job and your employer points to one of those things that you did and can prove it, you're not getting a dime in unemployment. So if you're lucky enough for your employer to approve your claim and there was no problem with your dismissal, there was no controversy that caused it, but then, they have to let the state know, and then the state releases your money. But in some states, you're getting paid bi-weekly. Some states, you get paid weekly. And not to mention, they want to tax it. And I foolishly decided to allow the taxes to be taken out because I don't want to deal with paying taxes next year. But those 60 to 70, $80 that are coming on my weekly checks, I can use that money. But now it's like, you know what? It is what it is. I mean, I was lucky enough that I actually lived. I didn't realize until this stint of unemployment that I'm like 20 minutes away from my local Department of Labor office. I never knew that. But imagine if you live far away from your Department of Labor office, you're calling and you're calling, you can't get anybody on the phone. You have no choice but to make a visit. And you want to see some angry people? Go to the Department of Labor office. Everybody is sitting there is angry, including myself. Hell, the Department of Labor seems like they're understaffed and they need employees. Hell, give me a job because you don't want to answer the phone. You're overwhelmed. Hello. See, For us who are folks who are collecting unemployment, our life doesn't pause because our claim is pending. Uh, my hunger can't pend. It needs to be fed now. My electricity can't be pending because I'll be sitting here in a candle with candle lit. Like I guess I'm Amish or something. And don't get me wrong, Amish are great people. Like these unemployment claims need to be processed quicker, like weeks. And then my payment was just, I don't know where it was. I never received the first debit card. Then the second debit card came. I am telling you, a good month passed before I got my first payment. And the amount that they're paying people on unemployment insurance is an utter joke and disgust. Let me tell you what happened in my case. When I wasn't temping, I would collect unemployment because you can't do both at the same time. Well, actually, you can. You can work a partial week and then collect partial money. So, in my case, when I'm temping, if there's certain days I don't work, then I can collect for those days. But there was a point when I was temping, like I said, for 7 full weeks. So I didn't collect at all, right? Because, hello, that's a crime. So, if you don't collect for at least 2 weeks, that is called a break in your claim. And when you go back to making your weekly phone call, oh Lord, the system knows you have not been calling into making for weekly certification. So then it's this whole bunch of forms you need to fill out. Like it comes in the mail, it's in the portal, it's stopped. You cannot get your next payment. No. So you think if you're gonna call that weekday and you're gonna have your money in your bank account or your card 2 days later, no, you're not gonna get nothing. You're gonna be barred from even claiming for that week because the system knows the last time you collected payment, Ms. Firewall, was on March 28th. Where have you been all this time? So now that's stalled because the form comes in the mail, you have to physically fill it out, mail it into uh, your local region of unemployment insurance, or in my case, you can bring it into the office and the lovely staff will take it and send it to your Department of Labor, like main office or wherever it may be. It's like even though I'm unemployed, I'm working. I'm working trying to find out where my money is that I'm rightly due and owed. I mean, why is the system so bad to collect unemployment? You can't get a live person. Nobody who answers the phone. You're transferring here, you're pressing this button, you're pressing that button. You got to complete forms in the mail, in the portal. You got to go to the office if you're lucky enough to get to an office. Not to mention, you got to do your weekly or monthly check ins with your probation officer, who they're telling you got to take a job, any job, as long as it pays $1 more than what you're getting on unemployment. So if you're making, let's say, 401 a week and a job offers you 402, you better take it. And then if you refuse a job and the Department of Labor finds out about it, uh, your claim is stopped. Like even if the job doesn't align to what you do or what you normally make, they want you to just take it. No, I will not. Like, yes, I mean, they have all these resources set up for career training and resume writing. I don't need that. What I need is for my check to hit my bank account when it's supposed to hit my bank account and not go floating to someone else's bank account and take 21 days to come back to me. What I need is my debit card to be sent to me and not floating in the universe somewhere. Don't tell me to take any job that's $1 more than my benefit rate. I will take a job that I'm I will take a job that meets the salary requirement that I damn well need to be making and should be making. Then they make you sign all these agreements. You're going to agree to do this. You're going to agree to do that, and the other. You got to be careful. You better read the fine print because you may be signing to pass over your liver. Like the money that we're collecting from unemployment is not luxury money. It's survival money. Like we're in survival mode. And the money that they're giving us is not enough. See, dealing with the Department of Labor, it's a full-time job in its damn self. while you're trying to find your next full-time job. Ain't nobody got time for this stress with dealing with the Department of Labor. Now let me lay some facts on you right now. So depending on where you live, the difference between the difference between your unemployment support can be hundreds of dollars per week, even though the COLA continues to rise across the country. So listen to this. These are some of the approximate unemployment payout figures. In Florida, the maximum unemployment payout is about $275 a week. Mississippi, one of the poorest states in the union for many, many years, the max is about $235 a week. Connecticut, the max is $721 a week. New York, the max is about $869 a week after a major 2025 increase. Well, the max was $504 a week. It jumped to $869 a week max in October 2025. Now, depending on what state you live in, your unemployment insurance might cover groceries or half a sandwich. Some states, the unemployment insurance duration is somewhere from 12 to 16 weeks. Some states, it's higher. It's at 26 weeks. See, same country, but different survival levels, I guess. See, you got your rent, your utilities, your groceries, your transportation, your mortgage payment, your medical insurance, if you have any still, right? How is anybody maintaining a household, an unemployment insurance payment? See, the Department of Labor needs to work out the kinks in their system, hire more staffing, upgrade your technology, your time frames for doing certain things, because once people lose their job, now all they have, if they're lucky, is they can call up to claim unemployment. Why the hell are we waiting 3 weeks for an employer to verify, yes, you let me go, or no, this person would quit, terminated, however the story is, and then for you to initiate that claim? These claims need to be made faster. Payments need to be increased. I be damn if I'm gonna bust my hump for $235 a week in unemployment. Oh, and then here's the funny part. When I log on to a file for an unemployment claim, the unemployment website is blocking me. It won't let me register because it wants me to input the password I used in 2011. What? I have not been on unemployment since 2011. Who the hell knows what the password was that I used then? Hello, this is 2026. So then you got to call customer service so they can override the system so that you can put in a new password. Hello, people. I need you to make it make sense. Now, let me wrap this up because this conversation gets me hot. Because this unemployment thing is no joke, and dealing with the Department of Labor is a joke. Now, if you never ever had to file for unemployment, and if you never sat refreshing a payment portal like you owed you rent money, and if you never had to listen to whole music so long you started questioning your life choices, well, congratulations. This episode may not apply to you. But for the rest of us, yeah, it's hell. While your unemployment claim may be pending, your bills are not, your landlord is not pending, electricity company is not pending, and your empty stomach is not pending either. I need the Department of Labor to run me my coins. Now, if you ever had to deal with unemployment stress, dealing with your local unemployment agency, drop it in the comments. Let me know. Let me know how it's going for you and your frustration. Until next time, guys, I'm Ms. Fireball, and this is Fired But Still Lit. Drop it in the comments. Come back and see me again. Peace out. Take care.